Okay, welcome everyone to Awakening Spiritual Intelligence. The theme for today is devotional love. I'm Pauline. I'll be your tech support, so feel free to message me with any questions. And with that, I'll hand it over to Yosi.
Thank you. Thank you, Pauline. I'm excited, happy to be here, and welcome to you all. I'm particularly excited to see that we have people and human beings and divine souls plugged in from all over the planet, from Australia, from Romania, from San Francisco, from Santa Cruz, from Michigan, from California. So, yeah, and Adelaide is the city of light. Okay, great. I did not know that. That's great to know. So, yeah, let's see if we can shed some light today, more on love and devotion. And if you're also willing, type into the chat a couple of adjective words about what you're experiencing in this moment. Joyful rest, settling in. All feelings, all experiences are welcome, all are human. Excitement for the weekend, excitement, anticipation, nervous energy. I wonder who that is. Oh, yeah, that's me. Uh, I'm just joking around here. Okay, well, we have a variety, a bit of peace, a bit of difficulty with focus. Okay, awesome. Again, all is welcome. It's great to see that range of human experience. So today we are here to talk about devotional love. So let's unpack that. I think those are big words, and let's see what we do with that. So let's begin with the word love. And Pauline, if you want to put that first slide, I'd love to see that.
Sorry, Yosi, I am not ready with a slide on love itself. I have the definitions of love in Greek. Do you want that?
No, that's okay. All right, well, don't worry about it.
We'll get to
So
that soon. It's exciting.
yeah. Okay. So yeah, just listen to the word love and tune in and notice what happens to you just in hearing that word. Any feelings or sensations in your body, in your chest, your belly? Do you love the word love? Does it evoke aliveness and joy, or is it sadness and grief, or both? And maybe it's particularly complicated on this Valentine's Day, where some of you are not in the US, but just so you know, Valentine's Day is a day in the US that's to celebrate uh, love, particularly romantic love. And, it could be a day where you're excited that you have a partner and you are going on a date tonight, or you're sending or receiving some chocolates or red roses or whatever it is. So you're just excited to be celebrating the love that's between you and your partner. And or perhaps you're partnered with someone, but the relationship is not so great and you're frustrated. So you have this ambivalent feelings about it. Or maybe you don't have a romantic partner in this moment in your life and you're happy to be single. It's just like relationships are complicated, all these woundings, another person, their preferences, their My own wounding is enough. My own healing is enough to deal with another person. No, thank you. Or maybe you are single, you're unpartnered, but you still experience devotional love. And but it's not to a particular partner. Or maybe you're unpartnered and you are longing for one. You'd love to have a partner that you can experience devotional love to. So all those experiences and more are welcome here. All are natural, all are human. And in fact, I could say that personally, in one point of my life or another, I've been in all of those. I've experienced each and every one of those. And today, on this Valentine's Day, I'm experiencing a couple of them. I am unpartnered at the moment, and I experience devotional love to my essential spirit, to my divine nature. This morning, as I do in every day, I go through a marriage vow ritual ceremony where I bethrone my soul in kind of a ritual, my divine essence. And yet, so even though I do have devotional love in my life, I also long for a, a human and flesh partner. So both are there. And when I speak of that, I feel the longing, this pull from my heart to something. And if I stay with that longing, it's actually pleasurable. I know we can associate longing with and yearning with a lack, but for me, there's an aliveness, a pull, an energy. So anyway, I'm just offering that you can have whatever experience you have. And whatever it is, just notice what's happening to you right now as I talk about these possibilities and what you're experiencing, what's happening in the center of your chest and your heart area. Now, we're talking about love, and love is one of the most overused words in our language. I love my morning tea and my morning coffee. And I love switching them up for variety. I love my clients. I love my children. I love the truth, and I love God. I love my morning walk on the beach, etc., etc., etc. And I'm loving this moment of being with you and feeling my aliveness. So, in the anticipation. So the point is, we use one word called love, but the Eskimos have 50 words for snow, and we have one word for love. So I think it just tells you something. I think it's unfortunate. It just means we're not so nuanced in our appreciation. Just like a wine connoisseur can talk about, fruity wine and dry wine and so on. In my simple-mindedness, I have white wine and red wine, and that's kind of my capacity. But if you're a sommelier, you have lots of words for wine, and that just means that your capacity to differentiate and experience the nuances and the richness of possibilities of wine is much wider, and that's wonderful. And so I wish we had more words to describe love. And the Greeks have at least four. They've distinguished four. And I don't know how to pronounce the first one. It's storg, but it's familial, parental, kind of children, and even one love for one's country. There's philia, which is friendly, brotherly, and sisterly love. And then there's agape, which is more affection, unconditional love. It could be used for love for God. And then there's eros, which is romantic, sexual, passionate. And the word eros, in our culture is usually very associated with sexual. But eros actually, in its origin, is much broader. It refers to the life force that animates us. And in fact, it can also refer to the life force that animates the entire universe. So, anyway, I'm just saying there's lots of flavors of love, and would all be better off if we could differentiate them. So back to love, the subject for today's meeting. And we have a little Hafiz quote poem for you. The subject tonight is love, and for tomorrow night as well. As a matter of fact, I know of no better topic for us to discuss until we all die. So this is another way of saying that I think love is one of the deepest motivations for human beings. And love, in fact, is a biological necessity for children, without which they fail to grow and thrive. You could take a baby infant and feed it all the food, nutrition they need, but if they don't receive the emotional warmth, the love, the care, uh, they don't grow physically. Their bodies don't grow, even though they get all the calories, all the energy, all the nutrition they need. So it's very interesting. And I see that in my clients, even when they appear that like they're motivated by their career, or they want to make money or become famous or whatever it is, accomplish, underneath that motivation, that drive, it's a belief that this is their ticket to get the acceptance, the respect, the desire from others. Several of my clients, and I know some famous business people, including Bill Gates, have spoken about how as teenagers and kids, they couldn't get attention from girls or women, and they became driven to success in their work in order to get attention, to get love. They thought that that's what will bring them love, make them desirable. And sometimes our motivation can be for self-love, and we believe we must be good, we must be, in some measure, get enlightened to be deserving of self-love. So even that could be a motivator, or the love of God, or, so we can go to heaven, or get enlightened. So, and needless to say, the majority of poetry and even rock and roll music is about the theme of love. So I'm just saying it touches something deep in all of us, in our psyche, in our heart, and so it's one of the deepest human motivations. So given that, we're planning this meeting to go on till tomorrow evening. As Hafiz said, it's the topic for today and tomorrow and every day till we all die is love. But given some of you or us may not be so devoted to this continued exploration, well, we'll just keep the meeting as planned for the 2 hours and maybe less. So the next thing we're talking about is devotion. We're talking about devotional love. So notice again your reaction to the word devotion. I suspect it's also a loaded word. Devotion. And let's look here at the Oxford English Dictionary definition. So devotion is love, loyalty, or enthusiasm for a person, activity, or a cause. Or it's a religious worship or observance. So, for many people, the word devotion has religious connotations because people, where a domain where we can feel that wholehearted devotion to something we love is often associated with spirituality or the divine or enlightenment or our Buddha nature or true nature. And it's hard for us human beings to devote ourselves because it can bring up lots of uh, fears of losing myself. Can I really devote myself wholeheartedly to whatever it is may be? You know, what's going to happen to my needs if I devote my life to my spiritual path, to world peace, to racial justice, to whatever it is, or to my children, let alone my romantic partner? You know, what's going to happen to me, my needs? So devotional love is kind of very ego dystonic. It requires, our wholehearted, full energy, full on intention and commitment and energy to be placed towards that which we're devoted to. And, on one hand, it's beautiful, brings in a lot of clarity and focus and integration. But on the other hand, it could be a sense of loss of self. And if I'm devoted to God, I may lose myself, but maybe that's not so bad. I lose myself into oneness with God. Um, and in some sense, we want to lose ourselves. We want to form a we. So in a romantic relationship, we're devoted to our partner, we can get to a place where there's a we. So there's the me, there's you, and then there's we, and then there's the one. So we can dance between all of those, and we could be devoted to our self-love and love in general, and so on. But as I said, because devotion often has religious or spiritual connotations, uh, it it could be problematic for many people, and it could be scary. And but again, losing oneself can have its risks and its benefits. And I think we experience that loss of self. I'm going to go a little maybe R-rated, not X-rated here, but that can happen in lovemaking. And in lovemaking, we get so much oxytocin, and after orgasm, etc., our hearts could be flooded with oxytocin and love, and we can experience a dissolution of our separateness, and all of a sudden there's an 8-limb entity that's not just our one body with 4 limbs, it's one body with 8 limbs, and we enter that state of union with our partner. And that's blissful and wonderful, and we love that unity. And then our need for autonomy comes up, and we're thirsty. We need a drink. We got to go to the bathroom, whatever it is. So we dance between our autonomy and our unity, and we merge and we re-emerge. So, but that dance is exciting and it's passionate, and it could be with our lover, but it can also be with our true nature, with our divine nature, with God, if you will. So I'm just going to slow down here for a moment. I'm saying a lot. Just notice how that all is landing. So in my spiritual intelligence research with 71 teachers across all the world's traditions, my subjects often talked, or the people I interview often talked about devotion, and they express sentiments like I'm talking about. So We're going to share some quotes here from some of them. So to me, devotion means opening one's heart to feel and express love and commitment to the force of love, which to me is divine. It can also mean loving those around you, like your family, but it really entails maintaining that fundamentally loving approach to all life and ultimately everything in creation. It is giving of oneself to love. And there's a sense of freedom and liberation that comes with that. Giving myself to love. You know, it's a hard idea for our ego to be given. Sometimes we sign our letters, yours. You know, we give ourselves. And we feel like we're losing something, or maybe it's a freedom and liberation, as this person is speaking of. So you could just take that in for a moment and see what your reaction is. Is it just a crazy idea, or is it something appealing about that? Another person said, my yogic bhakti path of devotion to God involves seeing all reality as an expression of God. And from that perspective, all reality is knit together, made of one sacred fabric. And I naturally want to act, dance, and sing in service to all of it. It is ecstasy. So if we see all as an expression of the one reality, the one God, God is infinite. We can't put God in a box and say, this is God, this is not God. That would be limiting it. So if all is an expression of God, all is an expression of reality, all is an expression of the oneness that we are part of, then we can love the totality of reality. And we are a part of that oneness. And we naturally want to dance and sing like we were in the beginning, and we can now. So what would it be like to walk through life where this is our experience? All is part of one divine that we are devoted to and in love with. It's a hard place to stay in. I'm not suggesting this is a easy cakewalk, but it's a practice and it's an orientation. Another one says, devotion means complete dedication to my mission and my work, but without attachment to the outcome. So I can be wholehearted in my actions while still remaining free and lighthearted in my interactions. Now that's an even higher art form. To be devoted to a cause, but surrendered in the outcome. We have right to our effort and not to the fruits. So I'm just looking in the chat here. We've got brings positive feelings for me, a full heart. Reminds me of Shinto, where it was described to me that kami is used to describe God and God. Kami can be in a grain of rice region or even more expansive, but the experience for kami is everywhere. Okay, I did not know the word kami, so I'm learning something. Thank you for sharing that. So anyway, but back to devotion. So as you can see, devotion can provide a unifying force, providing complete clarity and alignment between our values and our actions, and particularly our highest value, that which we love and value the most. And this empowers us and brings our entire life force energy focusing on that which we desire most. And it makes us feel whole because all of us are behind that, and powerful, and expands our sense of self to include that which we are in love with, and we're devoted to. Our boundaries expand. We feel ourselves bigger. And it's really a great antidote to our narcissistic, self-centered, egoic identity, which puts us in a solitary confinement. Like, I'm this ego that's skin encapsulated, and solitary confinement is the worst prison punishment. And people go crazy, but we kind of do that to ourselves when we believe we are that skin encapsulated ego. So, one more quote. So nothing is more practical than falling in love in a quite absolute final way. What you are in love with, what seizes your imagination, will affect everything. It will decide what will get you out of bed in the morning, what you will do with your evenings, how you will spend your weekends, what you read, who you know, what breaks your heart, and what amazes you with joy and gratitude. Fall in love, stay in love, and it will decide everything. Falling in love in an absolute way, no holes barred. Is it exciting? Is it scary? Is it both? And much more, perhaps. So we're gonna move into an exercise soon, and you'll get to explore some of this for yourself. And let's see. So we're gonna put you into triads today. It's a little different exercise than we've done before. And in this triad, you're gonna explore some of these ideas that I have been talking about for yourself. And so there'll be three of you. First, you will introduce yourself. So each of you will take a minute. I will kind of shout over the thing to and try and keep you on time. So you'll first introduce yourselves 1 minute each, and then you'll choose who goes first, and you'll have 5 minute monologue. And the questions are going to go into the chat here in a moment. But you in those 5 minutes, you are going to be talking, and the other two people, or if there's only two of you, be one person. You're just the witness is just there silently holding space, being in a receptive, open mode, and just supporting the other person through your presence. And the things for you to contemplate, if you are the person doing the exploration, the inquiry, first of all, is what is my emotional response to the word and notion of devotion? Is there any fear or resistance to it? Perhaps fear of losing my freedom or even myself. Or maybe you're excited. Yeah, whatever it is. And then where have I witnessed devotional love in others? How did it affect me? So whether or not you experience devotional love, maybe you either personally or in in history, you know somebody that really was devoted to a cause or something. And when you've studied or read or seen a movie about their lives, how did it affect you when you see someone who's wholeheartedly devoted to something? And then bringing it a little more home, what, if anything, might be worthy of my devotional love? Is there something in your life that is worthy of being devotionally in love with? And then what challenges my ability to tap into and express that devotional love that maybe I want to experience? And what is it like to contemplate the possibility of bringing a little, even just a little more devotional love to that? So this is your own chance to explore. You'll be talking for 5 minutes. Your partners will just hold space for you, and then you'll switch, and then the next person will speak for 5 minutes. And after the 2 or 3 of you have gone through that, and I'll call out the 5 minutes, so you don't have to worry about time. And then now you'll have 5 minutes of open discussion among the 3 of you. Just what came up for you as you spoke about yourself, as you listened to each other, as you just exploring this topic, and just share what is moving in your heart, in your mind, in response to all that we're talking about. And after those 5 minutes of discussion, I'm gonna invite you to stop talking, and I'm gonna invite you to just tune in into a moment of silence and tune into yourself, your heart, your chest, your body, your mind, your emotions. And so you could see how all of this is affecting you and what's arising in response to all these ideas, words, people. And then we will take a 5 minute break, and then we will be back in the big room, the big group here, and we will share and dialogue. And so any questions about any of this so far?
I have a question. Do you
Yeah.
want us to go through all of the inquiry questions one at a time, or is this just whatever comes to us from looking at those?
Yeah, thanks for the question. No, it's whatever comes to you. These are just things, prompts for you to think about. You may want to just focus on one of these, or 2 of these, or, these are just prompt suggestions for your contemplation. You might get into one of them and you might find that it takes the entire 5 minutes or it leads you elsewhere. So just follow your own inner guidance. These are just prompts and suggestions.
Great. And I did just put a screenshot of that slide into the chat if you want to open that as an image. Or I also put the text of all the questions in the chat. Even when you're in the breakout room, you can open the chat and scroll back to this text with the questions for reference, whatever's easier for you. And if you're watching the recording, you'll find the questions below this video. Any other questions?
So just Pauline, you're going to go into one of the rooms.
I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording. Okay, welcome back from the breakouts.
Yeah, it's good to see you all survived. It's curious how it all went. Anybody care to share? We have a devoted participant here, Nancy Ann, who is a devoted practitioner of awakening spiritual intelligence, but is here joining us now. She did the exercise I hope you did on your own, Nancy. Nancy, and yeah. So, what did you discover about yourself, your relationship to devotional love, and how was it to be in group and hear other people's? And you can share your reactions, but not what anybody else said, or just to keep the confidentiality.
I could share.
Mm.
Um, I just really appreciated having a safe space to talk about my devotional self. It's not something I have a chance to talk about very often. And it's a really big part of my life. It's the biggest part of my life. So being able to put voice to it and words to it was really meaningful to me. And I felt I felt a deepening in the naming of that,
Yeah,
deepening of the devotion.
being witnessed.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. But it is something very private and very intimate to say, oh, this is the thing I feel devotional love to. It's like, just in naming that, I feel a sense of sacredness. I don't know what you're experiencing, but it's something very private, very precious, very dear.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bunch of tenderness I hear in your voice, just in the yeah.
I do feel a softening and my heart feels present and open.
Mhm. Some sweetness here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweetness and longing at the same time.
Uh-huh. What's the longing like?
That's mostly the flavor of my devotion is this longing to unite more fully with God, the one, Buddha
Uh-huh.
nature, all these words, but that feeling of longing towards the deepening of devotion and unity.
Uh-huh. So what is that feeling of longing? Is there somatic? Do you feel it as a pull, a push, as a bubbling, as what? And where is it?
I feel it as a pull in both directions, down to the earth and up to the sky.
Uh-huh. Okay. And what happens when you feel the pull in both directions?
My human, my being feels more expanded
Uh-huh.
and porous. I also feel more grounded.
Hmm. Okay. And who and what are you in that place?
I think there's a quote. What was the quote, Yosi? It's something about love says I am everything.
Wisdom says I'm nothing
Wisdom
yet.
says I am nothing. That's what it feels like.
Okay. So you're nothing and everything. So it sounds like, are you not in union with the one then? Or are you?
There's a taste of it.
Okay. So just going into the longing, you get a taste of that which you long for.
Yeah, it's quite beautiful how that works.
Hmm. Okay. Well, thank you.
Mhm.
Anybody else care to share your experience here? Yeah. Michael, good to see you.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, my devotion got a bit fiery towards the end, almost explosive.
Uh-huh.
Um, Confession is because I was determined to keep speaking over you as you were broadcasting. So that fueled the fire of my devotion. I rock the boat. I rock the planet a bit, you know. So yeah, but I made me realize, yeah, there's fire in my devotion. There's
fire.
fire in my devotion.
Mm.
And I'm going to let it burn. Boy. I'm going to let it burn.
Yeah. And it's touching you. What's it like to be on fire in your devotion?
There's a part of me just wants to tell people to look out. Look out, here I come.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up in little old Adelaide, yeah, City of Light, I have always been too much, too loud, too big, too fast. People have said I had a New York speed. I should go and live in New York. You know, I was, yeah. Recently, people have suggested that's because I'm neurodiverse, but didn't realize it. But yeah, a lot of energy, a lot of passion, and obviously I need to be responsible in how I channel that and express that. I'm not afraid. I've long since stopped being afraid to show my feelings. I gave myself permission to cry at a young age, and I see part of my offering, my service to humanity is what I call a ministry of tears. A ministry of tears.
Ministry.
Tears are so powerful. Yeah, so I'm just very clear about why I'm here, and I am tapped into the ultimate. I'm tapped into the love in me, and I'm currently in a very, very, very seems new phase of transformation. Been going through a lot over the last couple of years, especially the last couple of months, and I feel like I'm in an even deeper phase of inner expansion in love, deepening in love. So my descending into love is my rising in love. I'm not into falling in love. I'm into rising in love. But as I descend to the depths of my core, where the source of my love comes from, I rise as well as descend. It's like it's this. That's the best way I can describe what's happening for me. And
yeah, Pauline talked about the pull up and down. Yeah, and they're kind of similar.
Expansion. It's a expansion, metamorphosis, transmutation. They're all just words, but yeah, God is doing a number on me big time.
Yeah, but the fire is giving you a sense of power, and you could be it's empowering, and you're also responsible and intentional about how you use that power for the good, is what I'm hearing.
But yeah, thank you for this opportunity to let it out. Thank you.
Let it out. Yeah. And what are you experiencing now? I see the soft smile on your face, kind of.
Lost you there for a second. Can you hear me still?
Yeah,
Okay.
you're back now.
Yeah, I froze. Just feeling very soft and peaceful, and also very secure in my power. Very secure.
Secure in my power, soft and peaceful. So you could be passionate and fiery and powerful, but soft and peaceful at the same time. It's an interesting cocktail, huh?
as I've said to a few people recently in different contexts, my vulnerability is my superpower.
Mm-hmm.
My vulnerability is my superpower. My heart, my breaking open heart, and my capacity to keep loving through my breaking open heart is my superpower.
Yeah. Some rabbi said many years ago, there's nothing more whole than a broken heart.
Yeah, and I recently heard this concept of living in breaking open space, or in a broken open space. I'm living from a broken open space. But was it who was it that said, the cracks are where the light comes through? Who's that singer? Leonard what's this, Leonard Cohen?
Leonard Cohen, yeah.
Yeah, the crack is where the light comes through.
Yeah, so we crack the shells of walls and shatter. So you're shattered open. Thank you, Michael. What's it like to just, if you look at the gallery and see everybody receiving you, what do you see?
I feel honored.
Honored.
That I am being honored and respected.
Yeah, you're honored. Do you feel people feel you as too much or just right, or delighted to receive you?
This group can handle it. I can see that.
They can handle you, huh?
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think they're delighting in you is what I see.
Yeah.
Huh? So you're being received and delighted, not too much.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. My vulnerability is my strength. Yeah, there you go. And you're practicing it. Hey, anybody else?
Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much. You've touched me really deeply, really deeply. I feel you all the way over there where you are. And we're here in the moment, absolutely. You know, I came into the world when it was filled full of grief, and it lived in my bones. But I just recently had an experience, a crazy experience, where I thought I lost everything on my hard drive. Some weird, bizarre thing happened. And I wasn't upset. I was numb. I was numb. I couldn't even process it. But I said, I don't understand. If I lost everything, oh well, there's nothing I can do about it. And maybe it's there and I just don't know it. I think I'll go to bed. And I got up in the morning and I was still sitting with it. And it didn't make any sense. And it didn't need to. But I had a call that morning. It was, a consciousness group like this one. No two of them the same. And the energy of the group, it was together with the fact it was a Zoom thing. And when I came on, my computer powered off again. I was like, what? I was in the Zoom room. What happened? But in the process of going in and powering my computer back up, my external hard drive appeared on my screen again, because the day it disappeared, my power had done the same thing on another community call. And my whole life has been about my devotion to community and the things you're talking about, because it's so painful at times to be in a situation where there's no one around me I can feel. I can feel I can feel pieces and parts of me, but there's something profound about dropping into this really deep space. There's the breath, the rising, and the falling, and the coming, and the going. And whatever falls into that space, it brings something from awareness that for whatever reason has meaning that changes the moment. And it looks different when you're 5 or you're 50 or you're 70, almost 79 or 14. And every stage has its surprises and its discoveries and its learnings, and it never stops, never. But it's easy to forget when we're having a moment of grief. Anything that brings a spark opens us to the next chapter of, what is it? So I'm almost a devotee of curiosity and wonder because it always brings me back. And especially when I move through it, like this funny thing with my external hard drive and all of the disasters my computers have delivered to me in the last few years. In a world where you can't live without a computer anymore, unless you want to live in the forest. Life is always waking something up in us. We were born to be something more than we know ourselves to be. Such a mystery, life. Such a mystery.
And you're devoted with curiosity and wonder to this mystery and learning and growing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And finding other people who will join me so I'm not doing it alone.
Yeah.
Their version, not mine. I learned wonderful things when I open one of my mysteries and somebody goes, well, I had this experience. Because everybody does, but when we're in one of those darker moments, it's, it's not necessarily visible to us until we wake up again to what's next. The new energy of whatever is shining another light, bringing us upward, inward, and outward and around and connecting and rooting and grounding and coming back up again.
But even your computer seems to have a response to connection, huh?
Well, you know what? Everything is a message. And this is something I learned a long time ago. My car will do weird stuff, and it's always symbolic of something about how I move in the world. My house, my home, weird things that happen. How did that happen? That makes no sense. Is about my body home, giving me a message. So when I look at things through the lens of energy, the life energies that move through me, instead of the fixed lens of a fleeting emotion, it's much easier to move through, to feel. It's in the feeling. What I can feel is real, or we could say what I feel is I can heal, right? When I see what I'm learning from this thing, there's a larger version available.
So I'm seeing a lot of life energy moving through you here.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Always.
What's that life energy like in you? What's that? How do you experience that energy of life moving through you right now?
Yeah, because right now it's different than it's ever been. I'm connected to the whole of things. But what's different, that's what I've always done in a situation where something was stuck or I was stuck. It was like, there were only two questions. Where is the love in this? And when I didn't get an answer, then the other question was, what am I learning from this? And when I just sat with it and refused to accept that there had to be, and I just sat into stillness, I would be shown something that was significant that I could not have known if I was listening up here. It was something new and fresh that was expanding me in some way.
Yeah.
Back to the whole. But what's different now to come back to where we were? Oh, I made a full circle. That's not always easy to do. Is it's also possible when we have enough pieces of the puzzle to see the bigger picture. We don't have to see everything. And so what's happening now is I'm able to stop and connect parts from things I've learned across my life that seemed totally not to have any connection. And they did not have connections when I had these experiences. I did a lot of traveling, so I learned through other cultures and people that had very different perspectives. And I thought those were the best parts of my life. What do they have to do with the life I'm living now? And I go, I don't know. And, fast forward, it's like it was all connected always. But I had a really big view of the world. And so if you look at a globe, can you connect the Australia and California or Oregon? No, we can't do it. We can't do it with our physical eyes. But what I discovered was I always thought I had weak vision because I don't have physical vision like other people. But my magical discovery more recently is I have profound vision. It's inner vision that connects all the pieces of every stage of my life. If I sit still, it pushes out the things that are not currently relevant and lets shine to the surface only what I need to know in the moment. It's like doing a keyword search on the internet. You put the right words in and you'll find what you're looking for. Almost
Yeah,
everything.
so you're experiencing that connection through everything, not just through your eyes. And your hands came out of your chest. So what is happening in your chest with this sense of connection? Everything falls into place. What's happening in the
Connecting
chest?
to the primal rhythms of life itself, where everything starts from that still point and grows and expands out. Watch a plant grow. We're part plant too,
Mhm. Still point.
And we
Okay.
have more energy, so we can move around and make life more complicated because we interact, but we don't even know what we're interacting with. We think we do. And then we get upset when it doesn't do what we thought it should. You have to have a sense of humor about these things. If you know you don't know everything, it's easier to be patient. The smarter we are, we think we know something other people don't know. It's important. It's significant, but there's way more. There's just way more. It takes all of us.
Way more and takes all of us. Okay, great. Thanks for sharing all that, Nancy Ann. Anybody else? What's happening for you? What are you learning about yourself, about devotion, about love, about being, about becoming?
I think I realized that I don't know, actually, I haven't experienced as much as I thought I did. I know I'm still young, I still have time, but at the same time, I was hoping that by now, in all my searches, I would have actually gotten to the point where I could feel that devotional love, but I I realized that before arriving to that point of devotional love, to that experience of devotional love, there are more inner fights that I have to go through that I wasn't expecting in order to arrive. And they don't feel as violent anymore. They don't feel as challenging anymore.
Mhm.
They bring a lot more hope and openness and somehow curiosity, especially when I am able to interact with people that are going through similar paths. Sorry, I thought I talked a lot today, so I'm still jumbling words. Um, People that are going through similar paths and that are dedicated to that path, and to be able to look for and find teachers and people that actually experienced that thing, that that emotion. Um, it's both inspiring, daunting a bit, because I know that there are people who dedicated their whole life to a spiritual path and to being there for people and helping people and learning discipline, self-discipline. But at the same time, and I'm thinking right now of Thich Nhat Hanh. I discovered him a few years ago when I was beginning my studies for my PhD, and reading his writings, his books, listening to him talk reminded me why I started on this path. And as much as I realized there's a lot I don't know, just the way he was phrasing things and the way he was approaching that journey of discovering and being one with everything around was giving me hope and making me feel safe enough somehow to open myself up to that journey.
So what's keeping you on the journey, given all the bumps on the road?
Um,
I'm hearing you're pretty devoted to get there, and you whatever there is, whatever the there is.
yeah, I think if I were to answer this question now after the past year, I think what keeps me on the path is devotion, and this spiritual path are the people that are
Uh-huh.
trusting me, that are putting their trust in me to be there for them and guide them in my
So
practice.
the people are supporting you. Uh-huh. But I'm also hearing that implicit in that you have a direction, you have an intention, you have an aim, and
Yeah,
that aim is, and that desire to get to wherever you're going, like you said with Thich Nhat Hanh, that inspired you to be in oneness. That idea has been planted deep in you, and you're cultivating it. I would say you're devoted to it, but I don't want to put words in your mouth. I'm just wondering if devotion is not already there.
I don't think you're putting words in my mouth, because now that I think of it, now that I heard you saying it, um, I
Is there
realize
not devotion already?
it is, even though I wasn't brave enough to admit it to myself,
Uh,
I guess. Because devotion does bring a sense, when I hear that word, it does bring a sense of a bit of fear, a
yeah.
bit of like, how are you worthy to call yourself devoted to something? Because you're not doing that much. But
Uh-huh.
at the same time, yeah, I guess in a way, some part of it, all right, not the whole devotion that I would have imagined, not the whole ecstasy, but small parts here and there, like touch and go.
Mhm. So you're
There it is.
devoted to growth. You're devoted to your growth. It's an ongoing process,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah,
So can you own that?
it gets easier
Mhm.
to own it now.
Okay, and what happens when you own it? I am devoted to my growth, even if I haven't gotten to the final big D devotion.
Mm. It kind of makes me smile.
Smile. Okay.
Yeah, it's that kind of realization, you know? Like, you can't really believe it wholeheartedly. Maybe it's a part of you that still hangs on the idea that no, it can't be happening already. But at the same time, yeah, it's happening.
It's happening. Okay. What's it
And it's
like when you
funny. Hmm?
what's it like when you say it's happening?
Um, there's calm.
Mhm.
And I I kind of observe the lack, yeah, the lack of agitation and anxiety and that buzzing
Mhm.
of indecision and of doubt, mostly.
Okay. So there's calm, there's no doubt. Maybe there's a sense of enoughness, contentment.
Hmm.
Okay, I like that sound.
It really is.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. It's delightful to watch you own your devotion to your growth and own your power and devotion to truth.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Anybody else want to share something?
I can share a little bit.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Good to
thank
see you.
you. Yeah, you too. In our small groups, I had trouble connecting to the word devotion, and just through your dialogue with Maria, I think it helped me to identify that I am devoted. I do have devotion, and it's pretty deep, but like kind of I think like a fish doesn't know it's in water. Like that's I'm so devoted. And so just as you were walking her through, I started asking myself, well, what are you devoted? Because you said growth, and I went, oh, interesting. And I said, well, I'm devoted to my purpose.
Uh-huh.
And then it was like, well, what's your purpose? Well, my purpose is connecting other people to their own spiritual truths. And I will do that till the day I die. That's something that will never end. And so just through this exploration and investigation and witnessing of other people and through this process, you helped me identify that. So thank you.
Okay, so I'm devoted to my purpose, which is
Mhm.
helping people connect to their spiritual, what did you say?
To
Spiritual,
their own spiritual truths.
their own spiritual truth. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm devoted to my purpose of helping people connect to their own spiritual truth.
Mhm.
And what do you experience when you acknowledge, say that?
It's just a fullness in my heart, in this whole region. I just
Uh-huh.
feel
Okay.
almost like a puffed up chest, but not like in an egoic way, just more full and resolute.
Full and resolute. Okay, and this energy In your hands, just feel that. Is it just in the boundary of your skin, or is that energy bigger than
No, it's right there. It's right where
right
my
there?
hands
Okay.
are.
Okay, so
That's
there's
where
an
it fills up to.
expansion, a fullness.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I am devoted to my purpose to help people connect with their spiritual truth.
Yes, and then that's far and wide and expansive, but even more succinctly, I hope to do that for people in their everyday working lives, so that there is not a separation
Uh-huh.
between my spiritual truth that lives over here
Uh-huh.
and my career truth that lives over here, but that they are in fact one.
Yeah, well, I heard someone called that embodying spiritual intelligence.
I heard that's going around.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some people are even doing research with it.
They might be. I don't know. You'll have to turn me on to a couple of them.
Yeah, okay. But just it's good to joke around with you, but in all seriousness, you actually also said till I day I die.
Oh yeah. I mean, that is why I'm pretty sure this incarnation is like, I have a tether that's so strong to God that like that's never ever gonna go away. And so I sometimes have to remind myself that the purpose isn't to return to God for me. The purpose isn't to return to God. The purpose is to figure out, like you were saying earlier, that dance between the separation and the separate.
Uh-huh.
And so, once I figure it out, I can help other people.
Yeah. So we're all work in progress. But I just I'm gonna come back to this. So I'm devoted to my purpose to help people connect to their spiritual truth, and I'm gonna do that till the day I die.
Yep.
What happened?
It just feels like big T truth.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
That's the sound of devotion if I ever heard one. No, can you?
Wow.
Huh?
Well, then there we have it. I take back everything I said in my small group. I obviously use humor to deflect. My apologies.
No, that's okay. I'm enjoying. I mean, but yeah, I mean, we're kind of circling around and we think we lack it and we think it's not here, and we got to go through all these hoops
Yeah.
to get to the love that is our nature, to the devotion that is our nature, that is right here.
It's so I will be on a phone call in 5 minutes. It's probably gonna be a pretty emotional phone call. And of course, this came at the perfect time because I've been asking, what is my frame for having this conversation?
Uh-huh.
And now I have it.
You
So
have clarity with your
I do.
clarity of devotion and purpose to this. You have clarity. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of the powers of devotion. And then we have to practice it. So it's not a once and done type of deal, which brings us in a moment to our next meeting. But anybody else want to say something quickly before we wrap up and talk about our next event? I just want to give kind of a chance to anybody else who wants to say anything else briefly. All right. Well, thank you all for your devotion and love and care to stick through this process. I know it's late. In some parts, it's early in other parts of the world. And so our next event is going to be March 14th, I believe. So 4 weeks from today, and we today talked about devotional love. So we're now, as I said, devotional love is in any loving relationship, whether it's with God or with our partner or with our children or our work. We can have the love, but we have to build the structure and the support and the practices that support that. And so our next event is going to be on intentional practice, and which is going to hopefully support our devotional love. So we actualize it and practice it and deepen it and let it ripen, and so we can enjoy the fruits of it. Questions, comments?
Sounds like a wonderful meeting. I will have to listen to it on recording because I'll be in Japan. But
Okay.
thank you for today. It was so nice to hear everyone's stories and to witness everyone.
Thank you. Okay, we got some hearts floating here. Okay, well, many blessings, much love. May we all celebrate our heart's capacity to love on this Valentine's Day, on this day, on every day. And thank you all for showing up and your care. And to me, just showing up here is a testament of your devotion to grow and deepen your connection with yourself and your spiritual journey. So gratitude and blessings. And as some of you said, part of what enables us to continue is the support and knowledge that others are on the path with us. So we're in this together.